Finally, the moment a couple of you have been waiting for.
It's all like bing bong, Jack.
Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Duval and St. Johns County. The show for Jag fans by Jag fans.
You can't have a newcomer come in and steal the show.
Here are your hosts, Franklin and Michael how you say it? DeZoba. Welcome to the Jaggernaut Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages, all 7 of you darlings. Well, I think it's 11 now.
And growing.
Yeah, I think it's 11 now. Woo-hoo! Moving on up.
Subscribe.
Anyway, want to welcome you back to another Jaggernaut podcast. Unfortunately, it is Loserville Tuesday, right? I mean, I tell you what, if you want to know about a broken heart, look no further than the Jacksonville Jaguars. They will sap every bit of energy you have. If you're new to being a Jags fan, this is what being a Jags fan is all about. It is that roller coaster. I was trying to tell all the fans, don't get too high because they still may jag it up. And what did they do? They jagged it up. Not only did they jag it up, but now we have a president. His name is Trevor Lawrence. That's right. For generational #1 overall QB. Shit himself. Completely shot himself. And so what do? Where do we go from here? Frank, man, come on. Give me something.
Yeah, so this is the main take that everybody's coming away with, and I think rightly so, because it's 2 games in a row. Obviously the Philly game, you could sort of, because it was so disastrous in an odd way.
And people were letting him off the hook. People were saying, "Oh, it's a monsoon. Oh, the weather. He's not normally that bad." Yeah. And to be honest, I was one of them. I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. I've been a huge Trevor Lawrence fan. He was the guy that I wanted. We got him. But for some reason, he's not putting it together. He's not early on his throws. He's late. He's making the wrong reads. And when he's making the right reads, especially in the first quarter, I don't know if you've noticed this. I know because you're always over at the bar. You're always getting to the bar late. But he has been high almost every throw.
Yeah.
In the entire first quarter. To me, that's a mechanical thing. Maybe you're not setting your feet. But you have got to see this on film. Every single game, you've got to see this on film. And yet, here we are, week 5, and they haven't changed any of it.
Yeah, I think that's fair criticism. So the high passes in the first quarter is starting to be a pattern. The general inaccuracy throughout the game is a pattern. The bad decision making is a pattern. And I think at this point, that is what everybody is seeing now. I think that the sample size, because I do believe that people gave Lawrence, to a certain extent, the mulligan for last year. So it is hard to quantify what that environment does to a player's performance. So I think, and rightly so, giving Trevor that mulligan last year is a fair way to start the season. But now we're 4 games in. There's 5 games. How many games have we played? I forget.
I think it's 5.
5. Yeah, that's right, because we were 2-2 going into it.
This is week now. 5 here. This is week 5 here.
So
Washington, Indy, Eagles. Right? Am I missing one? Oh, the Chargers. No, we're into week 6. This is week 6 coming up.
Yeah. Because we were 2-2 going into this game. So
God, we're awful at this. And we should at least know that, right?
Well, it isn't even math. It's just numbers. So you distracted me with your counting.
1, 2.
Well,
Two cookies.
So- yeah, I think the issue is if you well, I mean, just look at it. Did I don't even remember touchdowns that were thrown, but we've got interceptions and fumbles. I mean, there's been what uh I mean, what is it? 7 turnovers in 2 games by one guy. So that is bad. That's really bad. And I will say this, okay? Uh this this to defend the situation a little bit, I would say all players have slumps. You see it. Tom Brady's had slumps. I've watched them before. Um, but they have to be a slump and can't be that's the player. Okay, so that's what I think everybody's worried about.
Dude, that is a beautiful segue. Because you know what? We are now the league's slump busters. Woo!
Yeah.
If you got an ailment, come play Jacksonville.
Yeah, we brought it up last week too.
And here we are again. The Texans haven't beaten anybody. Yeah, they've been in the games, okay? I'll give them that. They've been in the games. But they haven't won anything. And lo and behold, they come here to Duval. And what happens? Trevor Lawrence shows up. Woo! Flicking his hair. Doing what he does. And this is what happens. If you can't run the ball, come to Duval. You can't pass the ball, come to Duval. It's awful. And that happens to us all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just the nature of being a Jaguar fan, watching this pattern of being everybody's remedy. So yeah, you need a win, come to Duval. You need what ails you. This is the hospital.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, and the problem is that I think what we're seeing from Trevor at this point in time, and this can change. Look, this can change. But right now, his vision and accuracy, it's not great.
Decision making.
It's not great. You see him make great throws.
Every game, he'll give you 2 to 3 throws, which are just jaw dropping. Literally, he had that one out on a rollout to Marvin Jones. Man, that thing was beautiful. On a laser.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy look at that. But then
he threw a laser to Stingley too.
Yeah, but then let's talk about that play. He is 2 yards from the first down marker. Yeah. First down marker's at the 3-yard line.
Yeah.
He knows he can't score, but he can get us a first down and get out of bounds. And he throws this retarded pass directly to a Houston guy. It's not to the left, it's not to the right, it's not high, it's not in the ground. It is right in his damn chest.
It's interesting. So there's a couple of things that I think of, and that play does encapsulate Trevor Lawrence right now.
Yes.
The thing that I'm thinking about with him is the mistakes that he makes, barring not talking about the fumble stuff. The mistakes that he makes are aggressive. But I was saying this last year, and I think that's the problem, is that at some point you're kind of you have an expectation that he's going to begin to make the adjustment. The adjustment needs to be you stop being overly aggressive when the play presents itself. He needs to learn to take things as they come. Don't force it. Like, don't throw it into the end zone, into double coverage when you can get the first down and get 4 more chances at the end zone. It's just basic stuff.
Football. It's basic football acumen.
Yeah, and now it can be learned. I mean, I would prefer this over the alternative. I would much prefer a guy who's trying for the big play and has to be taught to pull it and dial it back than somebody who you can't get to be aggressive. So let's say that. And I do think it's interesting that he didn't run for it. And he doesn't run a lot, right? I mean, there was like the one designed run.
Which bothers me even more. maybe every second play, maybe every first play of the game, as soon as we get the ball, it is a design Trevor Lawrence bootleg rollout, draw, something to get him stuck. I hate to admit it because you never want to get your quarterback hit. But if it calms him down, whatever's wrong, because there's something
he had a run earlier in the game, and it didn't seem, and maybe I don't know, maybe he stopped throwing high after that. I'm not real sure, when the run was and this sort of thing. But what I'm thinking about is guys like Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and Josh Allen, who run as if they're running backs practically, and Trevor seems hesitant to do it. I like that in this respect because he's an actual pocket quarterback, and that's his mindset, okay? But again, he has to be taught that at a certain point when the defense is just letting you have that, you take it. You don't
yes. Especially when it can lead to first down at the 3-yard line. That's
because the more you do that, the more the defense has to start respecting it, which will then open up what you're looking to find anyway. And I just think that's the frustrating part is like, when is he going to adjust that? Will he make that adjustment? Will he always be inaccurate? Will he always be the consummate tease? And that's, I think, what Jaguar fans are feeling right now with Trevor is they see the talent. It's just the proverbial tease because it's not actually translating to a winning product. And for every great pass, every great athletic move, there's just this weird propensity to not use the athleticism, a propensity to not make the right play. So it's a mixed bag right now. But yeah, it is what it is, and the hope is that at some point he will calm down. And he's young. Whatever else you want to say about it, it doesn't pay his. It just we got to see it, and we haven't seen it yet, and hopefully
and
we
at
will.
this point, he is what he is. He's not getting benched, so we're going to continue to roll on him. But just keep in mind, he may very well cost us more games. I do not have faith in him. If we fall behind,
at this point, no.
Yeah, if we fall behind by a field goal, by safety, by any margin, I have no faith that Trevor Lawrence can lead us back to win.
I honestly cannot think of a time so far in his short career where I thought he's going to do that Dan Marino, John Elway comeback.
No,
that
he hadn't done it.
You go, oh my gosh, you left the ball. Don't give Patrick Mahomes that much. That is not Trevor Lawrence in any way right now. You have no. In fact, and this will segue into the other thing. And I don't remember saying this out loud, maybe I did, but when Trayvon threw Mills down, I said right there, because that was 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20. When he did that, I said right there, they are going to score the first touchdown of the game, because that's what that does.
Yep.
Then we will not respond. So it won't be. So not only did not only did you sort of feel that. I mean, I don't know. I felt that. Maybe if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be saying that now. I don't know. But I certainly at that time said that's going to be the game right there. Because it's nobody's scoring touchdowns. There was no touchdown scored. They went right down after that. Scored the touchdown.
You're not football Notre Dame, right? You're not football.
But you've seen the momentum and how it works.
But here's what it is. We know losing, and we know what bad teams do. We know what bad teams look like. Trayvon Walker is what a bad team does. That play epitomizes what bad teams do. They can't beat you, so they go and they basically sort of cheat you. or try to cheat you or whatever you want to call it. They just get mad and they throw a tantrum. That was his tantrum. And that's what bad teams do. And you know what? The minute it happened, Frank, you looked at it and said, we're the worst team on that field. We're not. They're the
most talented team. We were clearly the most talented team there. But yeah, the worst team though. And you saw it coming.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter, dude. So anyway, yeah, the Trayvon Walker thing, that was just ridiculous. But he's a young player. It's the first time we've seen it. I can understand it. I've been him. I've been in his shoes. I know how frustrating it can be. So I get it. I really do. I get it. So I'm not mad at him. Did it help us? No, it did. It completely.
Yeah, I cost us the game, honestly.
Yeah, it potentially cost us the game.
Trevor Lawrence's performance was what cost us the game, but ultimately,
that is correct.
We still had a chance to pull it out, despite that. And that's the other thing I came away thinking of at some point, because you go through this psychological thing in your mind, and I even said this in the podcast after the Eagles game, so you can take what I said last and throw it in the garbage at this point, because I said, well, maybe this is good for us. Well, if it were good for us, we would have won this game. We would have come out and we would have played good. The fact that we didn't meant that losing wasn't good for us. We didn't learn a lesson. It wasn't some lesson a young team needs to learn.
That is correct. And that's another thing. That is another
segue?
No, it's what bad teams do. Bad teams don't get better from losing.
Yeah.
They just get down on themselves.
Well,
that's essentially all we've done. I mean, Trevor Lawrence came out and said, well, I'm just going to have to learn. I'm just going to have to learn from this, and I'm going to go back out and I'm going to work. No, well, you didn't. Yeah. Whatever you did after the Philly game, buddy, it didn't work. It didn't work.
Right.
So do something different. Instead, we get the same damn thing. Well, I'm just going to have to go at it. I know it's me. It's all everybody, but it's really me.
Yeah, and the talk about him owning up to it, like, what the crap, man? Just stop. Stop saying that. That's just so dumb. What else are you supposed to do? Every quarterback does that.
And
show me one quarterback that doesn't, and they'll talk about it because it's so odd that they said it.
Now, granted, the local media is getting a little better. I see them actually calling him out. I do see them talking, about the fact that he has been high on multiple balls in the first quarter. So I do see that, and I like that, and I think they should continue to ask that. Ask him, have you worked on anything to stop you from being high on your first throw?
Yeah, that'd be a good question to get very specific and say, we're noticing a pattern where you're high. Why is that? What are you doing to fix it?
Right. Ask the same question to Doug Peterson. Hey, Peterson, since you're a quarterback or were a quarterback, did you know that Trevor is throwing high all the time and he starts the game throwing high? Is there something you could do? What would you do to help him?
Yeah.
Phrase it. Now, granted, I phrase it awful. And, tact is not my.
I think if you were there, you'd phrase it differently.
So, but you could ask these questions, and it puts them on the spot and lets them know simply one thing. We see you suck. We know why you suck, and we're going to ask you about it.
Why? Okay, speaking of sucking, why does Christian Kirk suck all of a sudden? Where is Christian Kirk? Why is he not getting open? Isn't that his thing?
I think he's open just fine.
I saw times where
I think Trevor has been awful with his ball.
Who was open was Evan Ingram. I saw Evan Ingram get open. I saw Marvin Jones get open. I did not see this. Now, granted, I didn't go back and watch the tape and all that stuff, but anytime that I have a tendency to follow the ball. If the ball went to Kirk, somebody was glued to Kirk. He didn't get any separation from what I saw.
And it's quite possible. What's going on with him? I don't know.
I think that might be hurting because he.
But it could be. But why are we running through Zay Jones? Like it's
well,
like
he's been hurt. I don't know.
Right, but he comes back from an ankle injury, and now all of a sudden he's the focal point of our offense.
Well, maybe the setup is to sort of get Kirk rolling and then to play Zay off of Kirk, and it's messing everything up. I don't know.
It could be the scheme for this week, right? Cover 2. Guess what? It's cover 2.
Everyone's playing cover 2 right now. Everyone's playing cover 2.
Everybody knew it's cover 2.
And guess what? We
still could not beat it.
And that's the Gus Bradley defense as well. And we went 24 points, 24-0. So,
which we're gonna see again this week.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm not even going to ask you about that game. I will, but not right now. Offensive line. Did you notice that it took a step back when Tyler Shatley got in the lineup? We had a 4th and 1. We moved nobody. Tyler Shatley stood there like a statue. Didn't hit anybody. Didn't move. Nothing. He just stood there. And James Robinson hit him right in the back. But because he didn't move forward, James Robinson couldn't move forward. He got tackled for a loss. We turned the ball over on downs.
Yeah.
We got worse. We're not pushing anybody off the line.
Dude, I'm telling you, this is something that I'm noticing with the offensive line. If we aren't scheming the running back open, and by that I mean doing the traps and the different, the way the offensive line will move and open up holes. When you see that happen and the running back finds it and gets it, that's when we're succeeding. If it's just a matter of pushing somebody off the ball, you can forget it. Nobody on this, I don't see anybody doing that, to be honest with you. I don't see anybody. Brandon Scherf's not doing it. I forget, I'm blanking on our new center's name. But Cam Robinson, I'm told, is a great runner. And I, in fairness to Cam, I have seen him do some stuff where he's in the second level pushing people away. But, I mean, to be honest, our offensive line is getting stoned by every defensive line we run up against on numerous occasions. And quite honestly, I feel like it's been like this all year. Even in the games that we won despite the lack of our offensive line and their physicality. They are weak, not obviously compared to the general population, but compared to who they're going up against, they are not moving people off the line. If you need a 1 yard, can you get a half a yard and then maybe the running back can get the other half, as opposed to getting pushed back half a yard? That would be great, because that's what's basically going on. That 4th and 1, and people pointed out, and I didn't really notice it at the time, that Robinson kind of dove into the pile when he could have just went to the right. I kind of felt like the guy was there waiting, and Robinson thought that. But anyway, that's another thing. In this game, this is the first game I've ever felt like this. James Robinson's vision, where was it? Because I saw a number of plays where I didn't see him, and that was the one. And I've said this before, and you know I've said this. Is the one thing I really loved about Robinson. He finds the hole. He's patient. He's got vision. Not in this game. He didn't. This was a bad game for Robinson the first time. In regards to the attribute that I felt like is his strongest attribute, he didn't do well.
So, and I agree with you. I think this was a horrible game from our offensive line getting pushed and from James Robinson. So now we have Jags fans and local media who's saying, well, we didn't run the ball enough. We didn't run the ball enough.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're getting no push.
Right.
You're getting nothing extra from your running back. And then your other running back, who is doing very well, basically almost gives it the ball away, gives a turnover when he switches it, and we get lucky and get a field goal out of it.
Right.
Okay, so he's benched because he probably should be. Right? So now what do?
Yeah.
Do you keep running? No, you don't, because it's not going anywhere. You're not getting it. It is the offensive line. It is not James Robinson. It is not Travis Etienne.
Not the play calling.
It is not Doug. Yeah, it is not Doug Peterson's play calling.
Yeah.
It is a lack of physicality. You should be able. This is the damn NFL.
Yep.
You should be able to get 1 yard with your offensive line every time, regardless.
Yeah.
1 yard. That's all we need. 1 yard. But we can't get it.
I'm
we can't
surprised.
Get 1 yard.
I'm surprised that's something that people are saying. People look at the yards per carry average and they go, "Oh, we're supposed to be running, or we should be running the ball more," because obviously, Trevor Lawrence is
having trouble.
Yeah, he's stink. Well, first of all, you don't know he's going to stink until he stinks. Okay, when you call a pass play, you call a pass play assuming you don't call a pass play assuming your quarterback's going to throw an interception. That's not how you call plays. And the other thing is that essentially what happens is this: when you have the mix, you as a play caller, when you're good at it, you're calling the right plays at the right times, and that's actually leading to that concept of actually getting your running backs in regards to running plays in the best position to make those plays. If you run all the time, you're not going to have that average because you're not going to be running at those specific times, and you're not going to be having the same looks, and the defense isn't going to be respecting it the same. So the idea that you look at the game and you go back and you go, well, look how great our yards per carry average was. We should have ran it more. Well, that's cart before the horse. The reason why the yard per carry average was high was because of how they structured the offense and how they called the plays to begin with.
That is correct.
If Trevor Lawrence played his game correctly, nobody's saying that. And it wasn't, I think it's fair what we're saying about the offensive line. When we need the offensive line to have some physicality, they lack it. That's just a fact. I've seen it all year so far, and that's just a thing. And Doug Peterson is having to coach around that. What is he supposed to do? Coach around a quarterback that throws interceptions too? I mean, that's an issue. They're going to have to work through that somehow. I don't know how you do that necessarily. It's about calling the right plays at the right time and having people stand up.
And again, that's why
plays.
he's Doug Peterson. That's why I still believe in our coach. That's why I'm not
play calling
upset.
is not an issue for me.
I'm not upset at the play calling.
I've called out this team for terrible play calling for years because I believe it has been terrible. It's not just about whether or not it succeeds for me. You've seen me, we'd be watching a play and it was a terrible result, and I've told you, well, I like the play call though. Right. I mean, it just depends on, there's times where it's like, I think that was a good play call and we executed poorly. There's times where I think it's a bad play call and they executed great. It just depends. And for me, the play calling has been just fine. I'm fine with Doug Peterson's play calling. I'm fine with the run pass mix.
I agree. And I honestly, I think for the people that actually have been championing that, run the ball more, I'm not sure you actually understand football. I understand that. I know that it takes pressure off.
I kind of agree with that, honestly.
I know it takes pressure off.
And it's people that talk about football all the time saying it.
I know. And it's like, wait a minute. We can't get 1 yard, but you want us to run more?
Yeah, and it's about that. It's about that situation. It's because they know we needed 1 yard, and we couldn't get it. That tells you the problem.
It should, and these people should be like, wait a minute, we can't get a yard. We have to manufacture running plays. I understand manufacturing scoring plays, but now we're having to manufacture run plays. What? So now you want to just keep doing? Well, no, it doesn't work that way. Because eventually the counters, they get wise to. They get wise to your traps. If you start pulling some guy, they'll figure it out. I understand you can do that, and then maybe call an RPO, and hopefully Trevor Lawrence decides to take it around the corner. I doubt he will.
Well, we saw the RPO. Remember, we watched that one RPO, and it was like, why didn't Trevor keep it? Why didn't he keep it? It was so reminiscent of last year, where he constantly handed it to Robinson or I forget the bad running back. Carlos Hyde to just run into a pile. It's like, keep the ball, man. It's not. Yeah. So anyway, but that luckily we haven't seen that a lot this year. That was the first time I actually remember noticing it. But yeah, I don't know.
All
I
right,
mean,
brother. We have covered Trevor
yeah.
Lawrence. We have
So
covered
how do
offensive
we
line.
feel going
running.
into Indy now?
All right. Well, I will say this. I want to give the defense a good Duval, like a good manly Duval, because I feel
Yeah,
like
I think they played pretty good.
I think they played well, but you lost. Trevon Walker, he plays on the defense. So at that point, I'm not giving you guys shit. I'm not giving you any more of my money. Now I feel bad, man. I tell you, maybe I did that to us when I went and bought those shoes. Like, ooh, those shoes are pretty. I'm like, here we go. Yeah. So maybe
Bought
I
in
jinxed
too
us.
early.
Yeah, I bought in.
They got you.
They suckered me in, and then they said,
Hey.
"Look, we're just the same old Jags."
I was gonna say, I don't think we've said same old Jags yet until you did that.
Well, hey, you know me. I'm all about that.
Yeah.
All right, Frank. So, how do you feel going into Indy? So, Indy always beats us in Indy.
And that's the thing too. People forget about that. The Texans beat us, and it doesn't matter where. But we tend to only beat the Colts at home, so
Shit, we couldn't beat the Texans cheerleaders.
I don't feel
They'll
good at
line up
all.
in a Tampa tube, and we won't have an answer.
Yeah, I don't feel good at all. Like, how could you possibly feel good about it?
Man, I'll tell you what. Thursday night, I'm sitting here and I'm watching that Broncos Colts game, and I'm laughing. And I'm like, we're gonna F these guys up. These guys are horrible. This is a whole new low of NFL. And I still agree. That game,
Well,
I don't know who picked that game.
Yeah.
And the NFL, whoever put the Broncos on primetime 4 weeks in a row,
Yeah.
you're retarded. You should be fired. Like, if anybody else messes up like that,
evidently.
if anybody else messed up like that,
I didn't know Russell Wilson was that big of a draw.
In their career field, they would be fired, literally fired on the spot. But they probably still have a job. But anyway, I'm watching this game and I'm like, holy, this is a new low. This isn't a defensive battle. This isn't an offensive, shootout. This is just who's not so bad. And it's like, oh man, who doesn't make the most mistakes? It was trash. And I'm thinking, we are gonna slap them out of both of these teams. Because I thought when I was doing my rankings, I'm like, oh well, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose to the in fact, I think I had us losing to all of the AFC West. And I had us losing to the Broncos. I'm like, I think we're gonna lose to the Broncos.
I had us winning the Broncos.
Yeah.
Because I never understood the love for the Broncos.
And then after that, after Thursday, I'm like, we're going to F those boys up. They ain't got nothing for us. Then the Texans roll into town. Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we'll be lucky to even win either one of those games. I mean, if we
win one of them, right?
Yeah, if we get one of them, we'll be lucky. Because
the expectation, I got to be honest, my expectation is we're going to lose them both.
And that's probably right on par for Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not?
Exactly the type of team Jacksonville is. That game was so awful, and now we have to face the realization that we're in that league.
Okay.
That in the NFL. That's not the way the NFL is supposed to be ran or look. But we're very much in that league. It is some league between the NFL and college. And it's somewhere in there is where we dwell. So, and I had to face that reality.
And, to contextualize this in regards to our conversation this week and last, in regards to because we looked at both of these games, the Eagles and the Texans as the litmus test games. The Eagles was the test to see if we belonged in that upper third of NFL teams. The good teams, the teams that people are keeping an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Then we realized quickly we didn't deserve to be there. But could we be in the middle? Could we still be, a viably professional NFL team and the Texans game would let us know.
That was our litmus test.
So now we know we're in the bottom third, and the other two games were aberrations, because I think we said that. The question is, were those two games aberrations, or was the Washington game the aberration? And I think now unfortunately, it feels like we have our answer. Because, again, if it's a close game, and most games are close, we don't have a quarterback right now that will win the game for us. We just don't. Now, will he? I'm not saying he won't. I hope he will. But so far, I've never seen that from him. All the games where he's played well were games where, either he played well and then at the end floundered, or we were good the whole game and it wasn't really in doubt, like the last Indy game of the last season, that sort of stuff. So that being said, I've got no confidence at this point moving forward. My hope is we get to 8-8. That was what my thought was when we started the season. I do have some hope for next year, but that's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think we're going to.
Pretty soon, if we continue down this path, it is the normal, same old Jags path. Pretty soon, we're going to be mathematically eliminated because Tennessee is going to run away with our division. Because guess who's number one in our division now? That'd be Tennessee, right? So
I mean, can you imagine what on a confidence scale when we have to play Tennessee? I mean, there's no way we're going to win.
Yeah,
no way.
Yeah, right now, not even close.
Because the Texans are tougher than we are.
Yep.
The Titans are going to demolish us.
Because guess what? The Titans, they're tougher than the Texans. So
that's
what we get.
And here's the deal.
That is us. Woo!
Well, let me ask you this. I forgot what the schedule is. So I know we play Indy. What's next? Is it the Broncos?
I'm not sure.
Okay. If the Broncos keep going and they're as bad as they've looked, what is their issue that will be remedied against us? Will we turn Russell back into the Russell we used to see? Will his game against the Jaguars be the game where he comes back to being a good quarterback again? Will we be his remedy? That's what I'm thinking at this point.
Right now, yeah, that's exactly what the remedy would be. So right now, their defense looks awful.
Russell Wilson looks bad.
Yeah, Russell Wilson looks bad, but their defense looks awful too. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll in there, and Russell Wilson is going to drop 320 yards on us and 3 TDs.
Yeah. Their
defense is going to come away with probably 2 Trevor Lawrence picks, one's returned for his pick 6, and he'll fumble. One of them will fumble. It can be Ingram, it can be ETN, because Robinson, because they seem to like fumbling. So one of those guys is going to. So it'd be 3 turnovers. It'd probably be 3 sacks. So that's the remedy. So we have the Colts.
How many sacks does Bradley Chubb have right now? Is he in a slump?
No, I don't think so. I think Matt Ryan helped him with that.
Okay.
Like they were all like, man.
Yeah, I saw it. I forgot about that.
You want to talk about a slump buster? Look at their offensive line. Their offensive line, they should be ashamed of themselves for running out that offensive line. When we show up in Indy, I guarantee we won't get a sack. Not one. Like they're giving them out like Tic Tacs. Everybody can have a few.
Right.
But us. So I mean, why? Because we're the slump busters.
Yeah, so that's something to look for. You'll see us. I think you're right. We'll roll in there, and we've got athletes on that side of the ball. Their offensive line is struggling mightily. They're giving up sacks to everybody, and exactly what you said. That's what'll happen is we won't get sacks at all. We won't get pressure. Matt Ryan will feel comfortable. He'll look he probably won't have an amazing game because I kind of feel like Matt Ryan's kind of done. Like I kind of look at him and I think, our secondary's not bad, so I think he's probably going to.
He looks like that, but dude, he's going to drop 300 on us with 3 TDs. I doubt. Look, I doubt that too. I think more along the lines of Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor will come back over 100 yards. Yep. This is a perfect stage for that, right? He's out. How will he look when he comes? Oh, he'll look good.
Yeah,
he'll look good.
Same thing with Leonard, right? I think Leonard might be due back.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep. Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah, he's gonna do interception return for a touchdown.
Woo! Yep.
Fumble return for a touchdown, something like that's gonna be in his future, I'm sure. Oh.
Trevor will look at him. He'll point right at him and just throw it to him. Like, here you go. He'll just catch it and.
Yeah, I guess we're being overly salty, but
it's hard. But man, we're tired of this, and it's worse because nobody's like admitting. I guess nobody's really admitting. Nobody's understanding it. Maybe they are understanding it, but they can't say it. I don't know. I hate the fact that I'm starting to feel like I felt last year, like I felt the year before that. The last time we felt good was 2017. The time before that was 2011. The time before that was 2007. I'm just tired of it, man. Yeah. In 20 years, this is what we look like.
And there's always
can somebody on the Jaguars, one player, just stand up and give a shit and say no more, no more.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that sucks about it is that and I think we sort of hinted around this or maybe even said it when we had those 2 good games. We were feeling like this isn't right, because we've been down this road before where we've had a game or 2 where it looked like we turned the corner just to get dashed on the rocks again and go back to same old Jags. And that until you get a pattern of
consistently, of winning, of not futile mistakes.
Yeah.
Like bonehead, stupid mistakes.
Well,
like let me throw the interception instead of run the 2 yards for the first down.
Yeah.
That's a dumb mistake.
And the Texans highlight that, and this is what sort of points to that. You say, well, this is a new year, and you go, yeah, that logic says that, and I understand that, and I always try to turn to that, but then the Texans roll into town, and we're 2 out of the last 17, and the only 2 were 2017 when we had like the 85 Bears type defense. That was the only time we could beat the Texans. Yep. And you go, well, same old Jags lose. I think we even said that. If we're the same old Jags, we'll lose this game.
We'll lose.
And we lost the game. So it's like, that is what we do. So you go, well, we could do this. We could still be up and down. And we could still be up and down, but it's like, I don't expect that now. I expect what we've been, which is a little glimmer of hope just to get you excited, just to go, and we're just going to go on a slide.
Welcome to the Duval shit show.
And that's the, like you said, maybe if we can, if the defensive line does stuff, maybe it's what to look for, I suppose. That there's no reason why the Colts look terrible. There's no reason why we shouldn't beat the Colts, but we said that against the Texans, so.
And here we are.
The Jags.
The Jags.
Well, I think we pretty much beat that dead.
Yeah, we have beat that to death, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully your kids weren't listening. I know I say kids.
Subscribe. You know what?
Like and subscribe.
It doesn't cost you a thing. You know that?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not. I mean, that's all we want is for people to just listen to our content. Please.
All right.
Whatever. It is what it is, Frank. We'll see you this Sunday.
Till
maybe you'll get here on time so that I can point out to you his overthrows. Look, he's high. Look, he's high.
No, you know that ain't gonna happen.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
So.
At some point, you got to cut that baggage off. So you go home. I'm going to the bar.
Doghouse, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's why it's called the doghouse.
Yeah.
You're gonna get in trouble anyway.
All right. So.
All right, brother.
Till next time. Till we see. We'll see you again, and we'll discuss the aftermath of the
vaunted Colts
game. I hesitate to call it something else, but because I don't want to, let's let it. The game hasn't happened yet, so I don't want to be negative about it. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully they'll pull it out.
Until next week, please hit that like, subscribe button. Thank you, guys.